and now for the conference, and to see all these people here from all over the world, whether they're Grid associates or clients, and with their stories, it's a wonderful experience.
Good morning, and thank you very much for inviting me to open this conference. It's an important conference, and we're delighted it's being held in Northern Ireland. It has been said that success in any business is often determined by how effective the organisation is in managing its change.
You know, there isn't really anybody in this room I know who isn't fully aware of the period of massive global change that we are currently going through. I mean, quite simply, we are reinventing the way we are feeding and clothing and housing and healing and educating and training and policing ourselves. Policing is all about people and interaction, you know, and relationships. So we're thrilled to actually find this new area, and delighted that it's going so well.
Yeah, it is a big challenge. I think where Grid has helped us is it has given people the opportunity to develop themselves, to see how they interact with their colleagues, and then to drive the organisation on with that confidence. We are undergoing massive reform. We're managing a police service that has moved from 13,500 officers to 7,500 officers. We're moving from a hierarchical structure where the centre dominated to one where police districts are a land of council boundaries. The importance for me was to empower the front end to deliver the service and to get support from the centre rather than the other way round. So we've moved from a hierarchical organisation into an empowered one. Now that requires a whole new set of skills, and what Grid, I think, does is it gives people the opportunity to develop their skills, their own qualities, to help them drive the service in that way.
I'm optimistic because it provides some very useful tools, obviously, for people on the ground, and giving a lot of people confidence to contribute in their daily working life. And it's one of the problems coming from hierarchical organisations that policing is that we continually face.
Apparently it was Samuel Goldwyn who said, "I don't want any yes men around me. I want everybody to tell the truth, even if it costs them their job." Well, the sense I was trying to get in this morning's presentation was really relating to getting a shift from people who are waiting to be told what to do to people who become wanting to do things. In Grid parlance, the group was firmly in the 5-5 neighbourhood, with the odd drop of 9-1 input and consequently some 1-1 behaviour from some of the participants. But if you get people coming to the table demanding to get things done in their area, having done the background, having come up with some potential solutions and driving you in that direction, then there must be a much richer vein of resource around the table than we were getting beforehand.
Intelligence is a very punishing area to work in. If you don't do things correctly, your outcomes can be very, very dangerous. We can end up, unfortunately, with people or police officers potentially being killed. I want to ensure that the information gets passed from the people who know to the people that have to make the decisions. So the best way of doing that is to adopt a 9-9 style, where they use me and the staff below me to the best of their ability, so they can then make the decisions that they're accountable for. If we can have good critique and good candour, where people are able to say to senior managers, well, yes, I certainly see where you're coming from, but I think maybe this might be a better option. Particularly when it has an outcome that might affect a life or affect risk management, that would result in possible multiple deaths. It's something there that we must think about. How can we provide that information?
I see a lot of commonalities as far as trying to make the right decisions, and the last speaker particularly talked about if they don't make the right decisions, then people's lives, both the public and the police officers, could be at risk. Well, it's exactly the same in medicine. If we don't make the right decisions, then the lives of the patients could be at risk.
And we're spending money on this, so there has to be a return on investment. It's not just a case of an open checkbook. So we conducted a survey of Leadership Grid participants, and these were the people who had been on the course and had an opportunity to practice back in the workplace. Evaluation is very critical to any training and any learning and development programme, because we have to be very clear where we're trying to get to in terms of any learning and development. We're spending a lot of money on training people. We want to know that it's been successful.
I have been in meetings where there has been pushback from senior or junior ranking officers to senior ranking officers, which in and of itself wouldn't have happened too many years ago, I have seen senior officers maybe initially rise to it and then, sort of quickly say, no, hold on. I believe now that there's some value in receiving input from others, so I have seen changes there.
The type of systematic work these people have done, I don't think we have been able to do that one. So one of the things on my return I will do is to request the Bombay Police to go by this model.
And the area that I want to start on is culture. Organization culture, team culture, corporate culture. And at GRID, this is what we have been consumed with since our inception 45 years ago. We study it, we work with it. We try and develop our understanding of it.
And so the GRID takes aspects of relationships like conflict resolution, candor, decision making, expressing convictions and practicing critique, and deals with them in ways that can be measured and making them tangible.
Can a system transform the individual, or does the individual always transform the system?
What we find is that most people think that it's actually the system that changes the individual. And what we're here what we've experienced over the years is that it's the actual change in the individual that causes the shift in the system.
Why do change efforts routinely fail? Once again, I don't think there's anybody in this room who has been involved in a change effort that hasn't worked.
Organizations focus on the wrong area, and their leaders tend to focus on the wrong area. Leadership is primarily focused on results and deliverables, and reporting to shareholders or reporting to stakeholders and telling them that things are going well. And change actually starts in an organization's culture. It's actually much more to do with people and individuals than it is results. And so it's hard to pull leaders' attention away from day-to-day need to deliver results and focus a little bit longer term on what are some of the issues that actually create change.
Some of you, I suspect, did the standard tour of Northern Ireland, hopefully Bushmills Distillery and the Giant's Causeway, and I hope you had a good time.
I've just been wandering around. The people are wonderful.
For those of you that were in the golfing group, I hope you didn't spend too much time on the 19th hole, which is a cultural norm as I understand it.
Fantastic, yeah. We spent 3 days in Donegal as well before we started the conference, and that was just wonderful.